Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting an exploration plan update from Patrick Highsmith, President and CEO of Timberline Resources. Timberline trades on the OTCQB under the symbol TLRS and the Toronto Stock Exchange under the symbol TBR. Patrick, thanks again for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Megan. Good to be here.
Firstly, for those who are new to Timberline's story, could you give us an overview of the Eureka Gold Project in Nevada?
Absolutely, Megan. We are, a pure play on Nevada gold and silver at Timberline. We're focused with our major flagship project is the Eureka Project on the Battle Mountain Eureka Trend. And, that's really one of the key things we like to emphasize. There's so many explorers in Nevada, Megan, and so many good projects, but we're an on-trend explorer with big land positions on the major trends. In the last few years, we've been focusing at the Eureka Project, doing a lot of drilling on the water well zone, where we have, I think, demonstrated a lot of growth potential with higher grade mineralization than has historically been drilled on the property. A lot of nice long intercepts of greater than 3 grams per ton, which we've reported. We've also encountered carbonate replacement deposit style mineralization that's silver dominant with lead, zinc, and gold. At our New York Canyon target, which we'll be talking a fair bit about today. But we have this fundamental resource there at Lookout Mountain, which has the potential to grow and potentially to be in production in the relatively near term. So we'll be touching on that a little bit today. So this is a big project with what we believe is a lot of potential. And we show here on a map so folks can get located. We're really just going to talk about the Eureka Project here. As shown on this map, kind of in the center of Nevada, near the town of Eureka on that Battle Mountain Eureka Trend highlighted in gray there. And as I mentioned, we do have a resource there, and it's good to refresh the audience on that because this was a resource that was first published in 2013, and it does come to surface. It has a substantial component of oxide mineralization, which might be amenable to heap leach extraction, which is a lower cost way of getting at these gold deposits in Nevada. And you can see there summarized in the table, the measured and indicated resources are around 30 million tons at 0.62 grams per ton for a total of 500,000 ounces of gold. And just to get folks oriented, I'll just show a couple of things on this slide. We show the resource area coming to surface there outlined in red. And in the center of that is an area there called the Lookout Pit. And if folks look closely, they can see the tan and brown colors, indicative probably of oxidation in the rocks, which is favorable for potential heap leach recovery. But the real story here was you had that low grade resource, and then you see that gold arrow there because the rocks are dipping out to the east, and it was exploration in this area that discovered the water well zone, which is basically down dip from this resource. A little bit later, we'll be talking about that concept of kind of what it means to be there in the down dip from an existing resource. But anyway, that's a good introduction, I hope.
Yes, that was great. Thank you. And late last month, the company announced plans for your upcoming work program at Eureka. So can you recap that news release and let us know what Timberline will be up to for the rest of the year?
Yes, here you see a map of our 70 square kilometer land position outlined in black, and we're looking up this belt of green colored rocks. Those are Ordovician and Silurian in age, and those constitute what we call the Eureka Gold Belt because we're drilling gold down here at the Eureka Project, and I-80 Gold at the top of the screen is drilling gold and silver up at the Ruby Hill mine a few kilometers away from us. So I've just highlighted in red the areas we're going to talk about in this news release. We're going to get busy this year with the very first drilling, and we'll be starting next month at the New York Canyon target up to the upper right of the slide there. We'll talk about that in a moment. That's going to be exploration drilling, first ever on some patented claims that we've recently acquired. And then we'll also be talking about a lot of work going on the Lookout Mountain trend there in the big red box. That includes the water well zone, which we've been talking about over the last couple of years. But you'll see we're going to focus there more a little bit on permitting and things like that, Megan. And then we're just going to end with a very brief mention of a little bit of work here along the Windfall mine trend, where historic mining dates back to 1975 to 1985. We're just going to touch base there as we develop those targets.
Mm-hmm. And it's no secret that you have I-80 Gold Corporation at your doorstep here at this New York Canyon target. They are also searching for CRDs in the area. At New York Canyon, are you looking for extensions to the I-80 deposit, or are you looking for a brand new system that shows similar characteristics?
Indeed, at New York Canyon, we're way up to the north of our property position, and you see it here kind of on the upper right of the figure. And we're going to zoom in on that and talk about the first exploration drilling there. And it's a great question you ask, and we outline in blue on this slide, Megan, what has traditionally been known as the Eureka CRD district, carbonate replacement deposits, which were the birth of the boom town at Eureka in 1862. And those were silver, lead, and zinc dominant deposits, but they always had a bit of gold. And you can see our New York Canyon claim block is kind of, right in the thick of things up there in that CRD district. You can see where we're located there. And we are indeed in the same neighborhood, 3 kilometers away from where I-80 Gold has been drilling high-grade silver. They just announced some more results yesterday. And then 2 kilometers away from the FAD shaft, where Paycore Minerals was doing exploration there on a CRD deposit. And it's been announced recently that I-80 Gold will be acquiring Paycore. So we are in the neighborhood of those other players in the CRD district. Now, each of those properties has gold on it as well, and so does our New York Canyon target. So here on this table, I'm just recapping what this system looks like. And, I'm a geochemist, so I get a little nerdy here with the chemistry of these rocks, but it actually tells you a lot. If you look at these samples we highlighted in our news release in February, you can see that these rock chip samples, which validated historical sampling that was done before Timberline acquired this area, you can see their high-grade gold coming to surface, 55 grams, 32 grams, 22.5 grams per ton, but also silver, 246 grams per ton, 555, 558 in our sampling. And historically, there's a sample in the area that graded 750 grams per ton silver. Those come to surface. Notice there's also over a couple of percent lead and zinc, often in these rock chip samples, and sometimes up to 0.8% copper. So these CRDs are polymetallic in nature, Megan, and they actually form in pods. They can be sort of flat-lying, or they can be steep, and they tend to occur in clusters, often related to these granite-like rocks that intruded here around 100 million years ago. We're interpreting the age of this system. So before the Carlin-type gold that we continue to explore for at Eureka as well, which was about 40 million years ago. So to answer your question with my long, rambling technical diatribe, this is a related system, most likely, to what I-80 and Paycore have explored in the area, but it isn't probably connected. They probably are on different structures. They probably are related to granites that we may or may not even know about yet at depth, and that's why we're so excited to go in behind these high-grade results at New York Canyon. And we show maps here of the New York Canyon claim block. There's a scale bar at the bottom there, 0.5 kilometer. And you can see over a large area, we have these widespread gold and silver high-grade samples I was just highlighting. You can also see in red that that's the area we're going to start drilling. It's pretty obvious why. Look at all those warm colors there, the reds and the purples. So that's high-grade gold and silver. We've highlighted a few coming to surface. And you'll notice they're along, they kind of align in a northwesterly direction. And right in that area, in that oval, are patented claims, some of which date to the 1870s that we have now acquired. That includes surface and mineral rights, great for permitting, easy to work on patented claims. And this is where the drill rig will be showing up first when we kick off our program here to understand the scale, the dimensions, and the grade of this apparently high-grade gold silver showing, which has not yet been drilled in this part of the world. So super excited to get started with some real exploration on a brand new target just south of the town of Eureka. Great access here. The snow's already melted at New York Canyon. I was just out there last week.
Now, I understand you won't just be doing exploration work at Lookout this year. Could you give us a quick overview of the Lookout trend and your plans there?
Our plans at Lookout this year are a little different, Megan, and it's not just exploration. And the reason is, as we show on this slide, outlined in red, there's the resource area from that resource that we recapped earlier. And it crops out for a couple of kilometers there, over 4 kilometers there. And really, we've been focused on exploration down dip from that at water well zone. But if you look around that red perimeter there, there's a lot of work to do, because we realize with the historical work we've done on metallurgy and environmental and permitting, we need to get back on track with that. And that's what we're going to do this year. So we'll be doing some work with testing the metallurgical characteristics of those rocks to see if we can recover the gold with heap leach. We're going to be looking at the groundwater situation, geochemistry and waste rock characterization there, just doing that long lead time work that could lead to permits later. We're also going to be doing some exploration in the sort of areas we outline in purple here, South Lookout, north of Lookout there at an area called Rocky Canyon near the top of the slide, and also what we call the water well east as we look out to the east and south where we know the water well zone is open and needs more work. So it'll be a mix of that sort of permitting type work with also infill drilling and exploration drilling. Now I'm showing a cross section here, and it sort of cuts through the heart of the resource in an east-west direction. And it's a good bit of geology, but I want to explain a concept here. In the middle of this slide, you can see the red stuff coming to surface, which is actually, we label it as jasperoid. That's the resource area coming to surface. And you'll see these indicate that the rock units are dipping off to the east here. And that means that where mineralization comes to surface here, it may also extend to depth and not come to surface. And that's why I highlighted the question here, why is down dip so important? So we've got this resource area that comes to surface that we're going to do more work on this year and start advancing that, because that could be a heap leach oxide type mine in the future. But we know it has roots, and that's what the water well zone has shown us. And what this geophysical anomaly shows us, this is an IP chargeability high right here, Megan. I'm roughly outlining it. And that's showing rocks that are chargeable to electricity, meaning they probably have pyrite or graphite or carbon in them, which can give us that signal. And that indicates that there's something down there driving this system. So there are two components to this. There's the stuff that comes to surface, and then there's the future growth of the project, which will come from these deeper down dip targets that we explorers sometimes talk about. I'm just showing you one more long section here. It goes from southwest to northeast, a slice through the earth again. And what we're highlighting on this slide is the resource area here and the deeper water well zone drilling here. And it just shows you that it kind of all ties together. And what we were doing here is we were drilling the base of the Dunderberg Formation, where it intersects the Hamburg Formation down here. There's a lot of clutter on there. But what we're showing you is that over a kilometer, every single drill hole that pierced that zone hit gold. Sometimes it was nice high grade, like we saw at the water well zone over here on the right-hand side of the slide. And sometimes it was lower grade. But the system is extensive. And this is why we approach it in this sort of twofold fashion. First, let's advance the resource area that's shallower. And of course, let's continue to keep in mind that there's growth potential down dip. And then the last concept that we've been highlighting over the last couple of years is this concept of grade thickness. So here's a map, and we're showing in red the outline of the resource. But the really vivid colors there that we've posted, that image, is a model of grade thickness. So that's how high grade the intercepts were in the drilling, multiplied by how thick they were. And if it's a warm color here, that means it was quite thick. The purple would be over 160 gram meters of thickness. So you can see the water well zone outlined in purple there, a lot of red and purple, thick, higher grade intercepts. Within the resource, we have both a lot of low grade and these clusters, if you will, these pods of higher grade here, here, here. We've got more work to do here is all we're trying to say with this slide, Megan. And that means that these areas to the east where we've indicated untested, that means we've got nice thick mineralization going a little deeper that we haven't tested. The areas are under tested mean we have, for instance, up here at the northern part of the slide, we've got this area where there's been very little drilling immediately north of the resource, even though we know there's gold farther north at the Rocky Canyon area. And also on the south end of the resource, the same is true. So this is what we do when we start to think in 3 dimensions about these systems. Where is there room for them to grow, either down dip or even near surface within these and around these thicker pods that we're showing in that slide. So that's how we intend to grow the thing. And so, like I said, a lot of different work around. Some of it will be what we call infill drilling within the perimeter of the resource, and some of it will be down dip, looking at growth potential.
Absolutely. And it's such a big property, and we're usually just talking about small areas at a time, like the Lookout Resource, Waterwell Zone, or New York Canyon. Will you be looking at other targets this year?
That's a great question, and you're right. I mean, it's 70 square kilometers here, and we do have an ambitious plan this year. As we said, we're going to go advance some permitting work at Lookout. We're going to do some more drilling there. We're going to do brand new drilling at New York Canyon, and we're also going to come back to this Windfall mine trend, which is between New York Canyon and Lookout. And this is an area where the historic Windfall mine produced over 100,000 ounces of gold between 1975 and 1984. And on this map, we're just giving folks a taste. The core of this part of the claim block is held in patented claims, again, 100% controlled by Timberline. And what we've highlighted there are rock chips on the left-hand side. Those are gold rock chips. And you see lots of samples in the 1 and 2 gram per ton range. There's also a 43 gram rock chip sample on that trend. And we've also highlighted a few drill holes between these historic pits. So again, think about what this means. We have mineralization coming to surface. This was an oxide resource back in the day when it was mined. And not only do we have the indication of more oxide, but those slices we show here with the pretty colors are IP chargeability anomalies here and here. Again, occupying a trend that is down dip from the old Windfall mineralization. And guess what we see there? If folks look closely at this slide, you can see high-grade silver over 100 grams per ton along that structure. Probably means the CRD system is here as well. The silver-rich system overlapped by the gold system that came in later. And really, it's a target-rich environment at Windfall. And here we'll be developing these targets. And if things go well, we hope to be drilling here late in the year as well. So that's kind of our plans. It's a bit scattered this year because we need to focus on both exploration and moving forward with long lead time items that feed into permitting. So it'll be a busy year at Eureka this year.
Absolutely. Very busy. And thank you so much for your time today, Patrick. Have a great day. And we look forward to having you back on soon with more updates from Timberline in the near future.
Thanks very much. We'll certainly keep you updated.